I've got a law here shows where all the milk possible.
Well, this is where the actual Schertz-Cibolo-Universal project is. It's a map of that, where you can see which pieces belong. They just got it,
So here's this map, and I'm going to clarify, Diane, this is not exactly, okay? There's a big goose egg here. This is the area we're looking at. The little green dots, proposed Carrizo wells, don't pay any attention to that. That just it represents a well field. We're going to have a well field in that goose egg somewhere. So we're talking to landowners about that. Now, the red off to the right, over here, those are the actual Schertz-Cibolo wells and the Schertz-Cibolo well field, just so you know that. But the green line, the dotted line, and the big goose egg, it's a general area that we're looking at.
Hey, you've been holding your hand up.
What do y'all need the water for? Explain that. What do you need it for?
To supply the citizens of Cibolo and Schertz.
What about our 32% growth that we're projected to have in our city? What about that?
I understand that. We are trying to acquire water rights from willing landowners.
Exactly what y'all trying to acquire. Y'all trying to acquire water to water the grass in San Antonio. That's what y'all. That's where that excess water y'all sold went to water. So y'all can keep y'all's Edwards aquifer replenished. That's all it's about. Is so y'all can water your grass in San Antonio and have a pretty green lawn.
Well, I think it was mentioned earlier, statewide, there is a moving rural resources to urban areas. You know, everybody in the last, I don't know, decade, couple of decades, oh, come to Texas. Everybody move to Texas, move to Texas. Well, we've got to take care of those folks that are here.
We haven't heard from this lady.
The 3,000 acres you have today, is that locked in guaranteed, or does that include people like Mr. Wiley?
No, that we have
Conditions.
we have option agreements for 3,000 acres at this
Done
point. We have signed and we paid them for that option agreement.
And are those contiguous acres?
Yes,
Those are continuous, you said?
yes.
You have to get how many acres?
We're targeting 10,000.
You got 3,000 now.
Yes.
What part of the area is that 3,000 acres at?
I don't have that with, I mean, it's in this, it's in this general area. And some of it's spidered out, but it's contiguous.
If I'm hearing you right, we can shut you down if you don't get your 10,000 acres.
If we don't have water rights, we don't have a project. You're correct. Yes. That's true. With 5,000 acres, we could submit permit applications for 2 acre-foot per acre for the 10,000 acre-foot, yes. Yes.
Proposed 36-inch water supply line, what is the current size of water line?
We have a 42-inch pipeline from Gonzales up to Seguin.
And then this, an additional 36 inch go in?
Yes.
Okay, now what are y'all out as far as money, what have y'all paid those landowners for 3,000 acres?
We have an option agreement. We're paying $500 per landowner for an option.
So how many landowners do y'all have signed?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know that number right offhand.
Not even a
Dick, I got a question for Art. Art, I got a question for you. You said y'all reserving 2 acre feet in the Carrizo and Wilcox, right? 2 acre feet. Okay. I believe Steve said that 2 acre feet included the Queen City and all formations, right? Steve, did you say that earlier?
It's 2 acre feet total.
2 acre feet total out of all formations together. So if they take 2 acre feet, what does it leave me for my Queen City well then?
Nothing.
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 That's what you said a while ago, something ain't jiving here.
Nothing unless it's an exempt well. If it's an
No.
exempt well, it's exempt.
Alan, I called Steve, I talked to somebody every today. The exempt well still comes out of that 2 acre feet. You don't have to get a permit for it, but it comes out of 2 acre feet.
Well, I don't think that's what state law says.
No, sir, the exempt well does not come out of that 2 acre.
So you telling me any homestead well in the Queen City won't count against the 2 acre feet then?
Correct.
Right, if you have an exempt well, it's exempt whether it's in the Carrizo or the Wilcox or the Queen City or any other office.
Okay, if that well's not registered, it can't be exempt then, can it? Does that have to be on record?
Pardon me, I didn't hear the question. Whether it has to be registered.
It'll be on record.
Okay, it's exempt well, like I said earlier, it's used for
If a well is used for domestic, household and livestock watering type use, and if it's not capable of producing more than 17.5 gallons per minute or 25,000 gallons a day, which is spelled out in chapter 36 of the Texas Water Code, then it is qualifies as an exempt well, meaning before you drill the well, you don't have to come to us for a drilling permit, you don't need a production permit. It's exempt from those permits is what it basically what it is.
So does that have to be registered?
Yes, we do require that it's registered with the district, so we at least have the information on the well and know the location of the well with the GPS coordinates, know what the casing size is, how deep it is, where it's screened, just general information on the well that we maintain in our database.
Sir. Yeah.
I'd like to ask for a little guidance from you, Judge. Everybody's here with a lot of color and upset about this. Give us some direction, what we can do about this, how we stay together. A lot of people here, a lot of people upset. Can you tell us how to affect this water management plan, where we can be most effective, instead of just getting here and fussing at these fellows aren't going to let me say it.
Okay,
Give us some
the
direction.
reason this meeting was called was this for information. This was to, every property owner has to make their own decision.
I agree.
Okay, if y'all want to get together, this is a good time to get with the people that are on your side or whatever and talk with them.
Can we get some direction then from Evergreen about how best to support you all? How best to support Todd?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it all.
I just want to take advantage of all the people who are here and find some way that we can support you all, support your position, and kind of stick together and look to have some input on this water management plan that's being done right now.
Probably the best thing is mainly to stay in contact with Diane and Steve Snyder, who is the other Wilson County board member. Come to our board meetings. Call us at the office, come by the office, talk to us.
But we have no way of knowing who these water management regional meetings are or anything. I mean, we're all pretty much in the dark on these meetings held, and I know there's one last week.
The Regional Planning Group typically meets 4 times a year. It's usually the first Thursday of February, May, August, and November, except this next meeting will be April 2nd.
Should we be writing to people on that board? Because I know there are a lot of people who will be involved in the final decisions.
Well, keep in mind, the Regional Planning Group is responsible for developing the regional water plan that has a list of projects for every water utility in this 20.5 county region. It does not make decisions on permitting projects, whether it's a surface water project or a groundwater project, because that permitting activity for groundwater is reserved to groundwater districts. For surface water, it's reserved to the state. So the planning group,
No way to affect it.
The planning group would love to hear your comments and thoughts on any of these projects.
Well, I'm gonna
And,
an effective way for us to express the challenges.
well,
Until
that,
they reach it out, it might be.
well, the most direct way is through the permitting process, which will be held at the groundwater district. Now, when Region L puts out their draft plan after April, then we will hold 3 public meetings, and there's,
They can't deny the permit.
right, that they are not a permitting entity. That rests with the groundwater district.
The groundwater district can deny the permit. We can't hear it.
Pleasanton at the office, 110 Lounge Boulevard.
When is the next meeting's date, please?
The Evergreen board meetings are held once a month, and they're almost always the last Friday of every month. So with that being said, our next meeting is next Friday on the 26th. This Friday. I'm sorry, this Friday. At our office in Pleasanton, our address is 110 Wyoming Boulevard. We are just south of Pleasanton, right off of Highway 281 in the small industrial complex. What time? 9 o'clock in the morning.
Bottom line is, if they still require acres of contingency, they can't be stopped. They're going to do it. You have to approve it as a board. They can still leave. Is that correct?
It's a board decision. Those permits are voted on by our board of directors.
So you have to, they release 100,000 acres. You've got to do it.
The permits have to be approved by everyone.
Okay, what do they have to do to get it approved by you?
If they submit the complete application to us, and if the application has to be administratively complete, meaning that all of the requirements that are in our rules have to be met. All of the criteria in our rules have to be met. That includes complete maps, drawdown contours.
They're going to do all that.
Yes,
You know that. So they do all that. They get the
again, it goes to our board.
Okay, thank y'all for coming. We appreciate it. I see we're losing interest. Okay, we have one question.
I have a legal question for this guy here.
Is it something that can be asked after the meeting?
I think this is a question for everyone who's here.
Okay, everybody listen up.
We'd like to hear it. They get their 10,000 acres signed, and they start pumping water, and if people that sign this contract are of the mind smart enough to get a lawyer involved and say, look, I want my well re-drilled if it goes down. What about those of us on the fringe that didn't sign? We're in the shallower areas and our well goes dry. Is there any compensation there, or are we just stuck high and dry?
That would be
High and dry.
It's not a question I can easily answer for you. I mean, we've got partnership agreements with the property owners that we've leases with. But as far as those others, I mean, I'd encourage you to engage legal counsel to help you, assist you with that, with the more specific answer. I don't really have a good answer for that right now.
You know, I would like to make one comment that Russell was getting to, but it's very important. You're asking what you can do. It's very important that everyone that has a water well in the Evergreen Water District, whether it's domestic, exempt, irrigation well, whatever, that they register it with the Evergreen District. The Evergreen has to know where that well is in order for you to have standing. Standing is very important. There's no way the district, there's no way that you have validity in that, in one sense, unless we know you have a well. You've got to have standing. And the presence of a registered well gives you standing. And when those permits and those issues go to the Groundwater District Board, and they go through the process of evaluating the administrative completeness of it, there's an issue that if people with standing are impacted, they have the right to a contested case hearing. And that's part of that process within a publicly run board, the Evergreen Board. It goes to a contested case hearing, potentially even through a legal process beyond the board. So it's not a slam dunk, it's not automatic, but it begins with people having standing. I've got uncles who do not believe, they don't want the Evergreen to know they've got a water well. You know, they're afraid that, oh, somebody's going to permit, they're going to come in, they're going to deny us from using it. It's ridiculous. The only way you can have standing is the existence of the knowledge the Evergreen knows that that well's there. Because if that well is there and you have standing, you can prove that you're impacted, or you have an opportunity. So I encourage everybody that has a well to inform the Evergreen of it, register that well, put it in our database, and that way we know it's there. The Evergreen knows it's there. You're part of the process. Operating outside the process, all you're doing is expressing your right, but you're not having an effect on the standing of the issue. You don't have legal grounds because you haven't been impacted. You can only be impacted if you've got a well. Indirectly, obviously, land rights and all these other things aside. So that's just my closing comment.
Thank you.
I just want to know, how do we report our wells? Who do we call them?
You contact the Evergreen Water, and it doesn't matter if it's a small well, if it's a Queen City well, if it's a Carrizo well, register that well. And what's great is if people have wells that they're not using, provide that information to the Evergreen, and we can have monitoring data. That can become a very important scientific point. We've got, you're paying these guys. The Evergreen has a website, and the phone number is 830-569-4186. 830-569-4186. You can go online, you can pull copies. I had 3 old wells that I didn't even think about, that my uncles had on the property. I registered them all. Very, very important. You cannot believe how important that is. That way when my neighbor comes across the road and wants to drill a big well, I can say, well, wait a minute. It's not within the spacing requirement. He's too close. If the Evergreen doesn't know that well is there, there's no way they know if it abides by the spacing requirements. They have no way to know if it's being impacted. And you would not believe there's thousands of wells in this district that are unregistered because we all want to be so secretive. Well, it's time for a little bit of common sense in this process.
Thank you. Okay, I can see you got with the person you need to get with. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up right now. If you have any questions, you can meet with the people, the person you have the question for. Thank everybody for coming. I hope this did help y'all make some kind of decision. Thank you.